In view of their enormous importance, we recognize the great responsibility for our thoughts. Since thought is energy and does not decompose, then how responsible is mankind for its every thought? I remind you of how great is the common responsibility before light if each thought can either obscure or purify space. Energy of such power, influence and effects you must not send out into space unchecked. Space realizes its tensions which conform to the actions and thoughts produced on the earth. The more responsible is humanity for all its monstrosities, for the subtle world is thus held back in its development, just as is the whole chain of evolution on the earth. From this responsibility follows the absolute necessity to control your thoughts. You must become and remain master of your thoughts. Mastery means, above all, purification of thoughts. Just as with the physical body, for the education of the body of thoughts as well, a thorough cleansing is of the utmost importance. We rejoice at diversity of thinking, but each thought must be pure as a diamond. Tell all who hope to be with us that they should keep watch on their thoughts. A heroic deed is born of pure thoughts. What exactly does purification mean? As unusual as it may sound, it is about thinking right and overcoming wrong thinking. You can and must practice this. What are wrong thoughts? Are there any such thoughts at all? Wrong thoughts are bad, negative, harmful, useless or unwanted ones. Those of destructing and causing damage. All forms of selfishness, from petty egotism to greed and violence. Doubt, fear, belittlement, denial, weakness, ignorance, lack of joy, unkindness, impatience, and so on. All thoughts that are not in accordance with your soul, with the divine within you. Right thoughts are those of vitality, joy of being, creative construction, love, confidence, trust, firmness, unselfishness, patience, and serenity. The first step towards mastering thought is to continually observe and monitor their ever-changing activity. If you want to direct your thoughts, you must first look at them objectively from above, from the standpoint of your eternal individuality. Take care about your thinking. Regard thought as a real force in life, then gain firm control over the flow of thought. Then you should examine every thought for its value. One must keep watch over one's thoughts in order to send those of the best quality. How carefully must the disciples examine the quality of their thoughts? Has not the worm of egoism or conceit or the manifestation of self-love hidden somewhere? The ability to admit this honestly is something that each spirit must develop within himself. Finally, you can detect and reject unwanted thoughts. May everyone observe himself in order to naturally purify his thinking. A man is capable to notice a confusion of thought. Then he should give himself an account of which thought he needs most. It is not easy to detect the little worms at the bottom of consciousness. But if a man takes the trouble, he can begin to expel unnecessary impulses little by little. While observing, you learn to distinguish which are your own inner thoughts and which are sent to you from outside. One should learn to discriminate as to which thought is manifested from without and which has been conceived within. The next step is get into the habit of thinking only great, good, and important thoughts. At times, people are ready to recognize the power of thought, but they do not apply this recognition to themselves. They dream about great thoughts, but will not put the small ones in order. They will ask how to set thought into motion. One has to start by disciplining the smallest thoughts. Only when that is done can one create a thought that moves mountains. By following this advice about putting small thoughts in order, one begins to bring health to the heart. One must help the heart by putting thoughts in order. Can one imagine people as thinking only of that which is useful? Of course one can. Harmful and undisciplined thoughts are primarily useless. One can accustom oneself to useful thoughts, and such an exercise will be the best preparation for the fiery world. The habit of harboring good thoughts is not attained quickly. Vain thoughts assail and torment you like a swarm of annoying insects. They weaken your spiritual power, your psychic energy. When we speak of psychic energy, we must first of all remember the causes and effects of our small daily thoughts. These worms weaken the higher energy. A disorderly heap of garbage will obstruct any construction. Our enemies are the small, annoying flies. They prevent great deeds. People should understand what a petty thought is. Like an insect, it undermines all of the strongest intentions. The most persevering character weakens from the pricks and stings of small thoughts. When the time comes for action, people cover themselves with a cloud made from fragments of small thoughts. The nobles' decisions are blotted out beneath a layer of shameful thoughts. The main thing that hinders a heroic deed is not so much doubt as the shapeless thoughts born of old habits. Trivial thoughts stand in the way of the realization of your ideals. Disorderly thoughts are like lice and fleas, for they harm the subtle substance. They often carry deadly poison. Precisely the smallest thoughts are madness, and therefore the main obstacle in bringing the subtle and dense worlds together. You must not, under any circumstances, give insignificant, petty thoughts the same space as great ideas. When you observe nagging thoughts, you may notice that usually they are of the most everyday nature. In spite of their small significance, they attempt to contend with the greatest ideas. One should carefully cleanse the brain of these unbidden guests. Great deeds result from great thoughts. He who can observe small thoughts will be able to make great decisions. The quality and sequence of small thoughts lay the road for great actions. If your thoughts dwell predominantly on small things, you yourself will sink into insignificance. To direct the spirit, it is necessary to banish unnecessary thoughts. What are great thoughts? Occupy your thoughts with the highest, not with the everyday matters, or you yourself will become commonplace. Think of the eternal, the soul, not of the transient, the body, of the high, hierarchy, not of the low, chaos, of the beautiful, not of the ugly, of the creative, not of the destructive, of the ideal, not of the dreary earthly reality. The main thing is that petty thoughts, which cut through the basis of thinking, should not rise up. These small flies are difficult to exterminate. They also give a grey color to the radiation. Man assumes that no one and nothing interferes with his thoughts, yet at the same time his consciousness is full of tiny tadpoles, and his thinking turns into a quagmire.